And now for the introduction of our 5 panel members. First, Mr. John Gibson. He's the Director of Business Development for the York Revolution. John's primary responsibilities with the Revolution is in sponsorship and advertising sales. He also directs the internship program and oversight of the Weiss downtown playground, including all maintenance and repairs of the carousel. Mr. John Gibson. Next, we have Ms. Brandy Heilman. She's the project manager of URS Corporation and executive director of Commuter Services of Pennsylvania. Ms. Heilman has earned her bachelor's from Elizabethtown College in communication and her MBA in marketing management, HR management from York College, Pennsylvania. Ms. Brandy Heilman. Next, we have Mr. Jeff Hines. He's the president and CEO of York Water Company. Mr. Hines was most recently Chief Operating Officer of York Water. On March 1st, 2008, he was promoted to CEO of York Water. He currently is responsible for all operations, engineering, human resources, and customer service functions. Mr. Hines also serves as the chairman of the Pennsylvania section of the American Water Works Association and the chairman of the Pennsylvania chapter of the National Association of Water Companies. Mr. Jeff Hines. Next up, we have Mr. James A. Mustard. Mr. Mustard went to Downstate University and graduated with a degree in Business Administration and Marketing. He is the director of athletics and summer programs, along with the boys and girls varsity soccer coaches at York Country Day School in York, Pennsylvania, and he is also the assistant men's soccer coach for the York College soccer team. Mr. Jim Mustard. And last up is Mr. Jason Peck. Jason is an entrepreneur, intern, marketer, consultant, and blogger. His blog focuses on sports business, sponsorship, new media, social networking, and whatever else he can find interesting. Mr. Jason Peck. Doing the moderating for today's event is Professor Molly Souther.
Okay, great. Well, once again, I really want to thank all of our panelists for taking the time to be here. We're really excited about this event, and thank all of you for being here as well. I think you're going to get some great tips out of this panel's discussion. So, basically, this panel is made up of a variety of professionals from the sport and business industries, and we're going to be asking a variety of questions that our students actually submitted ahead of time after reading your bios. But to start off, I'd like to ask each of you the same question. Very briefly, as you think about talking to an audience of students who are just beginning their professional careers, and you think about this crowd, what would be the best piece of advice that you could give to them as they begin their career as professionals? So, John, we'll begin with you.
All right. There we go. This one's pretty simple, and I know my dad didn't make it up. Somebody famous said it, but 80% of success is showing up. So my first advice to you is get to where you have to be there on time, and then once you get there, you're all smart enough and talented enough that the rest of it will kind of take care of itself. So just put yourself in the position to succeed. That's my best advice for you.
Great, thank you. Ms. Hellman?
I guess going along with the theme of quotes, I would say two different things. The first is kind of image is everything. When you're going and starting your professional career, it's really important that you figure out exactly what it is you want to portray to the world that you're bringing, to the people that you can potentially work for. Look at the way you're dressed, the way that you're presenting yourself. I do a lot of interviewing, and that's really important. First impressions mean a lot. And then the second thing would be, lost my train of thought. Oh, preparation. There you go. go. Being prepared. One of the things that I also have run into with hiring students that are just out of college and interviewing them is because of the way that the job market is so tight right now, a lot of them are going on interview after interview, and some of them have come in and said, so what is it that your company does again? So be prepared, be dressed well, and know what you're doing when you go in, and really kind of do your research and do your homework.
Thank you. Mr. Hines?
Thanks. I guess two traits I always look for in somebody, the two most important traits, I think, integrity and loyalty in any organization you serve in. And sometimes you'll discover that the two are opposing each other. And if that's ever the case in any organization you're in, integrity should always win out.
Great, thank you. Mr. Mustard, any of your thoughts?
I would say probably be yourself when you're networking. Show your true colors, and definitely persevere through failure. It is a very difficult world out there. It only gets more difficult, but if you persevere through your failures, you're eventually going to find success.
Thank you. And Mr. Peck?
Be curious. I would say be curious. That's probably the one thing that really helped me in my first job was just, I had a passion for social media and just learned as much as I could about it. So I'd encourage you to find out whatever you're really interested in, learn more about it than anyone else that's around you, and people will be able to see that that's valuable.
Thank you. I'm going to move now into some of the questions that students asked specific to all of you as they looked at your bios. So we're going to cover a wide range of topics here over the next few minutes. And I'm going to start with Mr. Gibson. You've been with the York Revolution since the very beginning. And so could you talk with us a little bit about some of the unique challenges that might come from being with an organization that's just started versus being with an organization that perhaps has been around for some period of time?
Sure. I would say it's mostly advantageous to have a new organization. Like any new product that you introduce to the market, you have to do your homework, you have to roll it out the right way. But once you do roll it out there, you usually have some success, say 3 to 5 years at a minimum. After that point, it's the quality of the management and the organization that'll keep that team successful. One of the challenges of a team that's been established is that everybody knows about it. And if you don't reinvent your business with a new thing for an advertiser to do, or a new ticket plan for the fans, or whatever the case may be, things get stale and it drops off a little bit. So one of the nice things about being new is the newness itself. The challenges of that are more of an operational and a marketing sense. For example, we don't have a permanent office. We don't have a lot of the things that an established business has. We have to, use our own facilities like our laptop and things like that, and we might not have somewhere where we can even conduct meetings. So when you first start up, there's some challenges until you get everything established in a physical sense, and then you can really attack things from there. So hopefully that kind of answered your question.
Yeah, thank you. Very true, very true. As we think about trying new things, Ms. Holland, you recently completed your MBA at York College some years ago. And so could you tell us a little bit, many of our students are thinking about perhaps pursuing advanced education. And could you tell us a little bit about, from your perspective, what were some of the advantages of pursuing that degree and what was that experience like?
The MBA definitely helped me. One of the youngest project managers at my company at URS Corporation, and oftentimes companies will promote or even hire based on a combination of years of experience and what your degree is. And I didn't have as much experience. I started as the executive director of my program back in 2005, and I graduated undergrad in '98. So I only had a few years of experience, but getting that MBA gave me an advantage. We did projects that I got to put as on my resume and have references throughout that program that were really management level things that I might not have done in my previous position. So it was definitely worth it to go back and get the advanced degree, and it also gave me some credibility with my older colleagues that maybe just had bachelor's degrees but had 15, 20 years of experience. So it's definitely paid off for me.